Hello and welcome to the latest episode of When Wagon Wheels Were Bigger, the podcast that's too orangey for crows. And don't ask to be my dog, I don't need one.
Aww.
With me as always, don't ask. With me as always is Martin French.
That is me. That is my name.
Is his name. It was given to him by the Lord Baby Jesus. Today's episode is about Chocky. We kind of touched on this in the episode of Terrorhawks, how the 80s hated children because the 80s was a collective group of men who controlled TV. And Chocky, although the episode itself isn't particularly scary, as we start the episode, we will comment on how the opening is.
Yeah, it's unnerving more than scary. It takes you by surprise, doesn't it? The very first sound you hear.
The first sound does take you by surprise. And as I was watching it, I kind of knew that it did it. I was watching it, as I do when I'm in preparation for these, late last night in bed, because that's how I roll.
The best way to watch children's telly.
The only way to watch children's telly is half-dressed in bed. And I had momentarily forgotten the opening sound, and it kind of made me jump a bit.
Yeah, I can see why it would.
Yeah.
I do like how the still that YouTube was using on the version I watched it makes it look like the opening or the movie poster for Alien, because you can see sort of almost the egg-shaped the green back of a kid's head with the weird writing above it, and it does just look very very much like that poster. See,
the thumbnail it's chosen on my YouTube, because my YouTube's different to yours, looks like it's possibly an episode of Grange Hill.
I hope we're watching the same one.
I'm sure we are. If we're watching episode 1 of Chocky,
Chocky, not Chucky. That's
Chocky.
That's different.
Chocky Egg. Do you remember the game Chocky Egg? It wasn't called that. It was called Chocky Egg.
Yeah.
I hope we're watching the same one as well. I'll just ask you a question.
Go on.
Does he get possessed in it? Do they ride a London bus?
Yes, yeah, they do.
That's the same one.
I know we're watching the same one because you sent me a link. So as long as you watched from the same link that you sent me, we're okay.
Well, I tell you what you could have done to save that whole bit of conversation. You said, "I'm watching the one that you sent the link of."
I like to sort of seed the doubt in the listeners' minds that we, I like them to think that we might not be on the same page.
Do you know what I like to do?
Go on.
I like to swing on a star and carry moonbeams. Beans? I ruined that. Right, shall we watch Chocky?
I want to hear more about the moonbeams.
Moonbeams, right? I bought these moonbeams off this man in the street, and he said, I don't know where I'm going with that. Let's watch Chocky.
Let's watch Chocky.
Okay, on the count of 3, 2, 1, Chocky. Now, the classic Thames television opening.
Yeah, that brought back memories, even though I didn't spend very much of my childhood in the UK.
Yeah.
Screaming. Did you have headphones on when you were watching it in bed?
No, I had it quite loud. I'm hoping the neighbours heard and thought maybe there'd been a murder.
This is a creepy opening.
It's that whole... I don't really understand why does his head turn into like an egg, then it shows a bit of the countryside, and then the countryside disappears.
It's like horrible. Emmerdale.
Yes. Then that happens, and then Chocky comes up.
You can see how that is very much like the Alien film poster.
But then it's the whispering of Chocky as well, which is quite sinister.
Yeah.
Written by John Wyndham. He's the Triffids, isn't he?
Yeah, and Midwich Cuckoos as well, and tripods, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's messed up. So what's this here then, at the beginning? Is this like an alien ship?
I couldn't see it properly. Oh no, it's in the planetarium, isn't it? It's one of the projectors.
Oh, yeah, of course it is. Yeah, that's right. Have you ever been to a planetarium?
I have, yeah, in Madame Tussauds, or whatever's connected to Madame Tussauds. So.
This is the one they're in.
Is it the same one? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've been to a planetarium at Bristol, and it was rubbish.
I really liked the one that in London, in Madame Tussauds. It was probably the best bit of that school trip for me, but maybe I was just easily pleased.
She's being stupid again.
When was this school trip?
I would have been about 13, I suppose, 13 or 14.
I was setting you up for saying last week.
No.
I tagged along. That's the dad is one of the actors from the fire station drama London's
Thank
Burning.
you. I couldn't place him. I knew I recognised him, but I couldn't place him. And as we've established already, I can't work IMDb, so I didn't even try.
No, it doesn't. That looks like a penis. It doesn't to elude you.
It has done so far, and I don't like things that elude me, so I've ignored it since.
It's just to set the scene that they're in London. Let's get on a London bus. That's how everyone travels in London. By a London bus. They pander to this kid with the imaginary friend too much.
They do. It's an interesting setup, though, isn't it? To give her the imaginary friend, have her brother mock her, and then basically have an imaginary friend of his own. All buses are hand cranked in the UK as well.
Every vehicle we have actually is hand cranked in the UK, and they all have a bus driver, even the cars.
With a little hat.
With a little hat. We all have to wear hats when driving our cars in the UK.
What did you like best about the waxworks?
Chamber of Horrors. Didn't know you could hear
Oh, these kids are really irritating.
They are.
Chamber of Horrors.
I like how the mum and dad have sort of got matching perms, and the two boys have got matching Lego hair.
It's a perm that London's Burning actor takes into London's Burning with him.
Which character did he play in London's Burning then? Because I remembered his face, but...
Jeff.
Oh, Jeff.
Jeff
the
Fireman.
fireman.
Jeff Fireman, I think his name was. It was like an adult version of Fireman Sam, but less Welsh, which can only be a good thing. Let's just show a bit more of London. I love this bit in a minute. I don't know quite when he says it now. He says, "Watch out, Trafalgar Square. Watch out for the pigeons." As if the rabid, famous rabid pigeons of Trafalgar Square. And also, that kid then just looked at her imaginary friend, but she looked at the seat. So how small is her imaginary friend? The eye line is the chair.
What the imaginary friend is supposed to be. I assume it's a girl, but like a child as well.
Could be a mouse.
No, that's why he's saying look out for the pigeons, because of the shit. Bird shit. This is the most 80s of all scenes, because he's got a Rubiks Cube in it as well.
Yeah. I was thinking that actually when I was watching it. And everyone had that Quack poster in their room as well, with a Yankee Doodle duck.
I wish I had.
What's she wearing?
I don't know, is it wrong that I'm quite attracted to her? If she didn't have the 80s perm, she's quite a hot young mother, youngish
MILF?
mother.
I think the term you're looking for is MILF.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Quack, said the duck.
It's a very distracting poster.
And that kid needs to do up his pyjamas more, he's going to get a chill.
I'll be a teenager next birthday.
I'm not looking at his chest,
birthday.
I'm not weird, I'm just, I just noticed.
He just seems a lot younger than 12. But
Also, it's very open about his adoption as well.
yeah, but then they have to get it in there, I suppose, in a story way quite quickly. So they have to discuss it so that there's obviously something a bit special about him, I suppose.
Yeah. The dad's reading about all the fires that he failed to get to today because he was pissing around London. Oh, but London's burning. Oh, I'm in London. I'm enjoying the sights.
How middle
must be other
class are this
firemen.
family as well? No TV.
I think, let's be honest. No one really uses a teapot anymore. That's just far too middle class.
Remember how little he was when we collected him from the hospital?
I was terrified of touching
MILF. Is he a DILF? I don't know.
Not to me. Maybe to somebody out there. Anybody who's watching this and thinks that the dad in this...
Jeff Fireman is a DILF.
Tweet us at Spread the Whimsy and share your fantasies about Jeff Fireman.
And share your DILF love. Do you think there are DILF websites? There are MILF websites, I've heard.
I'm not going to look. I don't want to see.
Oh,
Girls have imaginary friends at her age.
Tea with a Saucer as well.
I used to have
There's
one.
nothing in that.
Shush. That's the best mothering skills.
See, what schools still had desks like this in the 80s?
No, this is a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe there were more schools like this than I would have thought. But it reminds me of that sort of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You know, that very old-fashioned sort of. Here's a maths problem. Get on with it.
Two.
Yeah.
Best bit of that film. He looks a bit like Norris McWhirter, this teacher.
Yeah.
And to a similar extent, Norris McWhirter's twin brother. Boris McWhirter. No one remembers him. He died years before Norris.
Oh.
See, this maths teacher's lazy. Just says, right, do this. I'm going to sit down.
Exactly. I'm going to sit down and pretend to do marking.
Tell me the factors for 12.
He does look like Norris McWhirter.
Okay.
2 and 6.
This is boring. This is like teaching. This is learning. I don't like it.
See, now, when I was watching it, I did think it was dull to start with, but by the end of this episode, I was actually a bit sucked in, and I did want to watch the next one.
I had hair like that as a kid. Not Norris McWhirter. Like, what's the main kid called?
Matthew.
Matthew.
Well, then, 1. Good. Never forget.
Well, good. Ooh, record breakers. We should do record breakers. No, that's a bit weird.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to watch it.
I can do my revision of the Record Breakers song then about Roy Castle. So in a minute, this kind of gaseous cloud comes in. And it's terrible special effects. Why's he got glue? Why does a maths teacher need glue on his desk?
Oh well, the marking must be done.
Yeah, it's like really weak glue. And what looks like a bird nest next to it as well. So here comes what I can only assume is Chocky.
Yeah. It sort of seems to scan the room for somebody acceptable to inhabit.
Yeah. These kids acting like something is happening is... Actually, no, it's not good.
No.
I was going to say it's quite good. He looks a little bit like Gonch from Grange
He
Hill.
does look like Gonch.
I think mainly because he's got a blazer on and he's a little bit ginger. I think
Yeah, that's all it
kind
takes.
That's all it takes to be Gonch.
Not so special now, Gonch.
What?
Just had an idea for a movie poster, Gonch in 60 seconds. Again, you heard it here first. Anyone does that?
I don't think many people want to steal that, but if you do make one, I'm sure it'll be good enough that people will wish they had.
Yeah, I think it will be. Along with the Hoff thing. I've already forgotten what that was now.
No, that's all right. We wrote it down. I did.
Ain't half Hoff. So basically, Chocky is a maths genius who understands Earth maths, which I imagine is different to Chocky Planet maths.
Chocky Planet.
I don't know where he's from. I'm not going to watch anymore. I don't want to learn anything.
Get on with your work, Matthew.
Get on with your work, Matthew.
You what?
It's like this maths teacher thinking, oh, come off it. I set really hard maths here.
If I could work IMDb, I would be double-checking whether this maths teacher played some kind of Imperial Guard in one of the Star Wars films, because he, or an Imperial officer. He does have the same sort of acting ability.
Most teachers from any school set up in British drama did play an Imperial Guard of some description in Star Wars.
All the ones called Mr. Bronson did.
Definitely all of them did. Easily.
Go back to your desk.
I like the scene in Star Wars when the Imperial guy played by Mr. Bronson opens up the door to his TIE fighter and Danny Kendall's corpse falls out. Look, she's looking far too low. What is it? It must be some sort of elf.
I don't know.
What did he do here?
He flicked
What's the point of
something.
Why do we have men and women?
How do you mean, darling?
I was watching this thinking, this is a bit deep for a kid's drama.
It is deep, although Chocky does have him asking some quite interesting
Not
questions.
Chucky. Chucky's something else.
I said Chocky.
It's all to do with hormones.
Did you? I thought you
I
said
think
Chucky.
so. I don't know. If I listen back to it and I said Chucky, I'm sorry.
We'll have to have male
And if I listen back to it and you said Chocky, I'm still not sorry, I don't really care.
What I want to know is why. Why do we have to have 2 to make 1?
What was it about the 80s as well? I mean, whenever I had my hair cut, my dad would always tell the hairdresser, make sure there's hair over his ears. As if everyone was ashamed of ears in the 80s.
Ears were offensive. They were very taboo in the 80s.
I mean, he might have really offensive ears. I don't know. She's got offensive hair. But
Would your dad take you into the hairdressers and say, can I have the kid from Chocky look on this one, please?
All right. But do your homework first.
well, I used to have my hair cut by the market, so
What,
whether
the
it was a
entire
hairdresser-
market?
the entire market, whether it was an actual barber's or whether it was just some guy with some sheep shears, I don't know.
She doesn't know either.
He's talking to Chocky. I mean, we all had imaginary friends as kids.
I don't know if I did. I can't remember.
I did. They were my friends.
Did they do your maths homework for you?
No, they bloody didn't.
Did they help you solve Rubik's Cubes?
To be fair though, I was in primary school, so I didn't. It was back in the days when you didn't get homework in primary school,
No.
unlike now, when you get loads.
They've got to prepare them, haven't they, for the mind-numbing, just wads and wads of homework they'll get in secondary school.
The monotony of school. But you know, best days of your life. That's what they say. I
Yeah, they
hated
lie.
school. I hated school. That's why I was always feigning illness all the time to get off it. But you know, I did okay.
Did your imaginary friends ask you strange questions about why there are men and women and why aren't there 8 days in the week?
Not that I remember. I'm glad you used plural there for imaginary friends because I was so lonely. I had 3.
You're going to share their names?
I
You don't have to.
I might as well. I've shared so much
you've brought it up.
over these weeks. There was Fred, there was Charlie, and then there was Dormouse, who I assume was a mouse. I don't know. But apparently it's just,
Threw everyone for a loop there with the last one. We were waiting for another normal name.
I know. I got you, didn't I?
We did.
It's. I mean, maybe it was a very short person, or maybe some with some sort of growth deficiency, with giant ears and big buck teeth. I don't know. Well, that's more like a rabbit, really, isn't it, than a mouse?
I suppose so.
There she is. Oh, she's out of shot again.
Yes. Main problem was dirt in the carburettor.
Like some coffee?
Earth in the carburettor. He's quite northern,
Over to
though.
Colin's house.
He's handy. He can fix cars and things, and he can put out fires in his spare
put-
time.
He can boil a kettle.
Well, not exactly.
He can
odd,
wear double denim.
Unusual. about it.
Oh, so you've noticed, have you? Was he listening to nothing or talking to himself?
You say the number of times in this episode when they'll say, "Oh, it's just a phase he's going through." It's just-
I expect he's just a crazy.
we can't explain mental illness. It's just a phase he's
Just a
going through.
phase. Just that phase of mental illness.
It's us.
I mean, people with mental illness just need to snap out of it because it's just a phase they're going through.
No, not another kid.
That's
Joke's on
essentially
them,
what
though.
it's saying.
He's not mentally ill. He's got an alien living in his head or something.
12-year-old boys don't
Yeah, in your face, London burning dad and milk.
He's probably practicing for the debating society. Then. Mind you.
What are those scissors attached to? Who puts their scissors and cheese grate on a wall like that?
It just makes them easy to find.
Talking about?
Well, you know, put them in a drawer. That's just as easy.
Why there should be 7 days in a week?
I'm more worried that those knives are facing upwards. You'd think really the handles would be at the top.
Yes,
It would be
things have
safer,
changed
wouldn't it?
Quite suddenly this last week or so.
Are you enjoying her tossing that salad?
No.
I am a bit.
Well, the questions he asks.
Got a
No,
sort of
I am
funny
as well.
feeling in my tummy.
Like we need to have 2 sexes. And where exactly is that?
She said
We
sexes.
thought about that after going to the planetarium.
Or tossing the salad. That's those. If those scissors and the cheese grater were level at the same level on the wall, I think I wouldn't have such a problem with it. But look, as he said, look, why are the scissors higher?
Because scissors are better. They're winning.
What Charlie Sheen winning?
Yeah.
Bound to be a perfectly simple explanation.
And put your fairy liquid under the sink in the cupboard. It's just obscene having your fairy liquid on the sink. Product placement. Random shot of cows. Who? I did wonder at some point if this was going to go into that public information film Apache.
Yeah. That was a thought that came into my head as well.
Chocky saying into his head, "Jump into the thresher."
I don't
The
know.
cows
Poison.
trampled
Why
them.
does the cow stop?
No, it's not a riddle. It's a question.
Why have we come here, Dad? To look at cows. It's what all fathers and sons do at some point in their lives.
It's quite a thoughtful
And it doesn't seem to be able to
question, though, isn't it? It's like, why do they stop? Why can't they? If they can figure one thing out, why can't they figure out something as easy as opening a gate?
Someone opens the gate.
What it is, I think it's more. I don't know how accurate to the books this is,
No.
but it just comes across as John Wyndham.
When they get
Just
there,
look at me, aren't I intelligent?
and wait till the end.
Aren't I profound? I'm kind of really deep questions.
When it's over, they go
But if I
back
have a
into
kid
the
saying
field.
them, then I'll look even more
They
deep.
understand about that. You see?
Get back to your
That's right.
bloody plants, John Wyndham.
They don't go any further. They just
Now,
stop
Dare the
there.
Triffids, that's a good story. I like Dare the
They
Triffids.
stop
I don't think I've either read it or seen any adaptations, to be honest.
There was a really terrible adaptation of it,
They want to
probably
get out when they just open the
3-4
gate
years ago maybe,
Hmm.
with Eddie Izzard as some sort of villain who was using the situation to his advantage with the Triffids, and it had Dougray Scott in it, still lamenting that he wasn't Wolverine because of Mission Impossible 2. Oh,
Well, we
I
all
could have been
lament-
Wolverine.
We all lament Mission Impossible 2.
We do, and not lament Dougray Scott being Wolverine, because I can't imagine how awful that would have been. She's not got a seatbelt on. That's just dangerous.
It is dangerous.
This whole scene I found really superfluous, because again they're basically saying, "Oh, it's just a phase he's going through," and then they
But
pull up a car dealership to buy a car.
It's so that they can advertise Citroen.
It really blazingly, that's not a word, blatantly advertise Citroen. There you go, just to prove it's the 80s. He's wearing a
loved-
Fred Perry tracksuit and doing a Rubik's Cube.
I love that the setting up a computer game takes about half an hour,
And then the
a big
manual was
booklet.
huge.
Big,
You
yeah.
better- You better study this manual this week. I'll be back in a fortnight. You can play the game. And why is he doing that American accent as well?
Like sending them out jogging.
He's a stage school kid.
bizarre.
He just sledgehammered it in just so he could prove he got a bit of range.
Enter now for the great
He's
finger
got the
marathon.
range.
No tracksuit required.
Finger marathon. That's just a really lazy plot device to get them to look at the Rubik's Cube again.
Have you ever solved a Rubik's Cube?
No.
Have you ever messed up a Rubik's Cube for somebody else and just sort of run away laughing?
I didn't run away laughing. I don't think I just stood in their face laughing. I am not mathematically minded in the slightest. I'm not necessarily that a Rubik's Cube you need to be mathematically minded, I don't think.
No,
Just be very logical, which is clearly something else I lack.
I can't. I've seen explanations of how to do it, and I just can't work it out. So
No,
I've never
it's
really.
not something I had when I was. I never had. We had a Rubik's Cube in the house, but it wasn't mine. But I had the Rubik's clock.
Yeah.
We had to get all the clocks to 12.
Oh,
Couldn't do-
yeah.
couldn't
yeah.
do that.
Yep, we had
And
that.
that folding one that was like rings. You had to get the rings all matched.
Yeah. Yes, I know. Yeah.
Couldn't do that either. Why I asked for them, I have no idea. What a waste
I like
of
that
money.
your description. We had one in the house, like as if it was some sort of some presence that you weren't to approach.
We never spoke of it. I think it was my brother's. I think he took all the stickers off and just put them back on again.
That's what everybody does.
I know. And bizarrely, down at my grandparents' house, they had a Rubik's Cube but had fruit on it instead of colours. Because it was the 80s. I've got a T-shirt like that now, that blue T-shirt that kid's wearing. It's very, very similar. And I think I had a tracksuit like that Fred Perry one. I think mine had Michael Jackson turning into a werewolf on the front. The infamous Thriller jumper that I've never mentioned on the podcast before.
The Thriller jumper that appears in about 90% of your childhood photos.
Yeah, from about the age of 5 to 8, I seem to be in my Thriller jumper, and they are affectionately known as the Thriller years. Because I have no other item of clothing in any picture. She's wearing that top again, Martin.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Chocky! Go away,
That's
Chocky!
quite unnerving. A child's voice saying things like that. I didn't like it. Just sounds really, really wrong. This is quite a nice shot, though. For two reasons.
Banisters,
And mirrors. I like mirrors.
writing down how many fires he failed to stop today. Oh, 20 people died. No one does tea like that. They make it in the cup.
It's perfectly fine to use a teapot, but not that one, because that one would be kept for best.
That would be kept for best.
You'd have a ratty, well-worn one that you just use for every day.
I don't think, if it's just the two of us, I know that me and Debbie, I don't think we've ever used a teapot, because it's much easier just to make it in the cup.
My mum still uses a teapot.
No,
But she likes, it lets it stew, lets it strong, so I suppose that's the way.
La-di-da.
Yeah, well, that's why I wasn't... that's why I didn't really weigh in earlier, expecting a reply like that.
Do shut up and go away.
We got to have the dad just stormed out then. Talk to me like that. Little bastard.
Call me Chocky. Comes back with a slipper.
Go away.
It's a cool duvet set, the Superman set.
It's a cool poster as well, that Quack poster.
It is. Quack. Here, have some orange juice.
I've put some ice in it.
Yeah, I know.
Now it's medicine.
I want to go to sleep, Mummy, but Chocky doesn't understand.
I've ground up some pills in it.
It's right, because they live near a chemical waste dump where a lot of penicillin's dumped into the water supply, so all their water is pretty good.
Please make me go away now.
It's when she's telling Chucky to go away as well.
You said Chocky that time.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
It's gonna happen.
Oh, shit. Chucky, then. It's like she's looking off to the side, like she's praying. Look.
Now you really must
Yep.
be quiet and let Matthew rest.
Dear Lord
It's not
Chucky.
all well, Chocky, and he must get some sleep, so please, go away. You can come back tomorrow. He'll probably be better then.
You can come back tomorrow.
Chocky, you really
She shouldn't have told him that. Just tell him to go away.
He's going to come back now.
If
So
he
is this
listened to
kid-
her...
Is this kid an alien kid then that they've adopted? Is that what it is?
I don't think so. I did sort of try and read a little bit about it, and I just think that he gets... his sort of intelligence grows because of Chocky being in his head, and then, I don't know, people become interested in him, the military get involved at some point, apparently. But I don't think he's any kind of alien himself.
Oh, right.
Well, I might be wrong. Again, I haven't seen the whole thing. I don't think I even watched it really when I was a kid.
I don't like. I was aware of it, but I never actually watched it. But I was aware of the opening because they used
Got
to
freaked out by that, yeah.
freak me out.
No, she's whispering it.
Chocky. I think I might join the fire brigade. That was a good idea, dear. Didn't even drink his orange juice. No
it's
wonder it's not
wasteful.
better. This is just one of the many. Well, the show itself isn't particularly haunting, but the opening sequence is like. I think I mentioned it last time about Box of Delights.
Yeah.
Sorry, I made yawn there. Yawn as I'm talking. Box of Delights, because I kind of went back to look at that. Carol Drinkwater. I went back to look at the Box of Delights. And the opening is really creepy.
Yeah.
Just lots of horrible like jesters and Punch and Judy kind of
Oh God. Yeah.
appearing on the screen. But the old Punch and Judy, like Victorian
The
horror.
proper creepy ones.
Yeah. Well, that's Chocky.
It was Chocky. That was what it was.
So you found that you actually were quite intrigued about the story.
I
weren't you?
was quite intrigued. Because I think it went reasonably quickly, and I just sort of wanted to know a little bit more about what this alien was actually, what influence this alien was going to have. But then I read a bit of Wikipedia, and it's already spoiled for me now. So, but yeah, no, I don't think that was too bad. It was obviously many of our criticisms about 80s TV. It was slow, but it sort of had to be, didn't it? Because they're spreading out probably quite a thin story over I don't know how many episodes.
Could have been a lot quicker.
Well, it could have been, yeah. It could have all been done in one, but that's not a series then, is it?
No, it's a special.
It would have been a special, the Chocky special. No, I didn't hate it. I wasn't. I sort of halfway through, I did think that it was quite dull, but then by the end, maybe I just wanted to see more of Carol Drinkwater. I don't know.
I think he did. Some other recommendations have come up on the side.
Okay.
For,
Let's see if you've got the same as me.
I've got several episodes of Chocky, obviously.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Tucker's Luck, episode 1.
Not on mine, no.
and Stig of the Dump.
I've got Stig of the Dump on there, yeah.
The entire series, by the looks of it, 2
Seems
hour
to be
runtime.
2 hours, yeah.
There's a special in the future. It was 1981 after all.
Yeah, and some bits and pieces from Grange Hill up there as well.
Children of the Stones. That was something else I never watched, but it's quite creepy apparently.
Yeah. There's not that much to say about Chocky, really, is there? Although you haven't identified any particular character as being the Scrappy-Doo in that one at all.
No, although I have noticed that it was uploaded on my birthday 2 years ago.
Oh, so it was.
Just in case anyone cares, which I don't think they will, or should, or do. I'm going to say the Scrappy-Doo of that episode was his friend in the T-shirt I have.
I agree. I was waiting for... I did think that you might have identified him when they were loading up the video game when he did the American accent, and I was waiting for you to...
He annoyed me because that little quote he does comes out of nowhere and is pointless.
Yeah.
And then, finger marathon. We were all doing finger marathons in the 80s, weren't we?
Well, because they had to run their fingers over to the solved Rubiks Cube.
Yeah. So Matthew could go, I don't remember. Get out of my head, Chocky. Why are there men and women?
Why aren't there 8 days in a week? Why do cows not think harder? Why is my brain hurt?
Why am I having a seizure? Why is my nose bleeding? Why you admitted me into a mental institution?
I don't know. I think I would be. I never read the book. I didn't even know that was a John Wyndham story until I watched this.
Do you know what? I didn't either.
The other day.
No.
But I would be intrigued to sort of see. No, I wouldn't. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to lie. But it wasn't terrible. I did expect it was going to be a bit creepier, but I think that's because we both had that same just childhood experience of, oh God, Chocky's starting, leave the room.
Yeah, it's kind of the opening.
Yeah.
Gives the impression that it's going to be a lot creepier. But the thing is, a lot of, as we've already said in this podcast, a lot of 80s shows did have creepy music and seemed to be intent on just making kids shit their pants
now,
in the opening few moments.
That was probably one of the most British things that we'll watch. But can you guess which other country it was popular in? Somewhere in Eastern Europe. Yes, yeah, Czechoslovakia, as it was.
Do you know what? I don't know why I did.
It was also dubbed in French and broadcast in Canada, apparently, in the late 80s as well. But yeah, very popular in Czechoslovakia for some reason.
Oh no, la Chocky! Oh, I've done Chocky again. I think Chocky just rolls off the tongue a lot easier.
It does, yeah. Chocky's a very strange word anyway, and a strange name for anything. It's hard to say with a straight face, I imagine, as an actor.
And also the word Chocky is kind of topical at the moment because we're recording this just after Easter Sunday when a lot of Chocky has been eaten.
But yeah, that's true.
That's the only way to celebrate the death and resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ.
It is.
By
the only way I know. The only way I care
devouring
about.
chocolate eggs. That's the only way I care about. I had a chocolate egg before we came on air, and all the time I was thinking, thanks, Jesus.
See, here we go. While the 1968 novel was set in an unspecified near future, the TV adaptation was set in the mid-1980s, and the Gore family acquire a second-generation Citroen CX car, which was marketed as being technologically advanced at the time. So I'm guessing Citroen paid them quite a bit of money to drive up to a Citroen garage.
How did they get hold of the script? And then think, do you know what? This would be the perfect way to advertise our new Citroen.
Kids will buy loads of cars. Let's put it in a kids' show.
You know what kids like for buying cars? They're bloody idiots.
they'll buy any old shit they see on a kids' show. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, I probably a little bit downbeat this one because we haven't been particularly. I haven't had very much to say about it, really.
No, there were a few moments of silence.
Yeah. But I think that just goes with the theme of the show, really. It was there was a lot of silence during the show as well. Like that.
You broke the silence quicker.
I did. I don't like uncomfortable silences. See?
Oh, well, that wraps that up then.
Well, I think it does. Did you have a favourite character just before we go?
Yeah, Jeff Fireman.
Ah.
And his inability to ever drink his cup of tea and also put out fires.
I liked. I had two favourite characters. That was both played by Carol Drinkwater.
Both attached to Carol Drinkwater. If you have any recommendations that maybe you want us to talk about a show that was your favourite during the 80s. I mean, no
that
one's
was
bothered
better
yet,
than this.
so maybe someone would like to. We're quite open to that. Then
Yeah.
you can tweet us at Spread the Whimsy on the old Twitter box, and you can also look on Facebook at www.facebook.com/toomuch.jam.
That's the one. So yeah, that wasn't very good, was it?
Not really. Don't forget also the YouTube channel.
Oh yes,
The Too Much Jam YouTube channel, where this will eventually go up with the video, so you can watch it and go, wow,
you can look at all
Rubiks
the
Cubes, the 80s.
80s haircuts and the Quack poster. You could just pause and look at the Quack poster.
We are actually going to replicate the Quack poster and maybe have it on offer from the Facebook page at some point.
News to me. Cool.
Well, you've got to draw it. You're the artist.
Oh, well, all right. Okay, I will attempt it.
I think you should attempt it and then post your attempts.
I will now. I think you should also get both of your children to replicate it, and then people can judge which is best.
And we'll put them up at the time that this goes live. Done.
We'll have a little competition, which I fully expect to lose.
So you're going to have a competition against a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Yeah, I've got no shame. And I'll be really disappointed if I lose as well.
Yeah, and maybe rip up their efforts
That's,
and then kick over their sandcastles.
yeah, it's a bit of effort. If they were near me at the time, I might, but I'm not going to go all the way over there.
I'm
just
going to drive them to you and see what happens.
Well, there's something for me to look forward to.
Exactly. Well,
All right,
we hope you enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
And we'll see you. Well, we won't see you. We'll talk.
I can see you. I
to
can see
you.
all of you. I can see what you're doing, and I don't approve of it.
Stop that while looking at Carol Drinkwater.
Stop it. Only I may do that.
Only I may partake in the Drinkwater. Oh, lordy. Anyway, we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Bye.
Cheers, bye.